We see in this week's portion that Jacob wished to reveal to his sons what would be at the end of days. He tells them to gather, but as he's about to discuss with them these really incredible details, the divine presence departs from him and he's no longer able to tell them. Seemingly a lost cause. However, says Reb Nassan of Nemirov, in fact, Jacob told us everything we need to know about the end of days and about how to hasten the end of days. In the very first word, gather unto me. The idea of gathering, coming together, putting our differences aside. He says, when the most removed of us, the lowest, basest of us, comes to realize that we have a godly core, that everything in creation is enlivened in each and every moment by a divine spark that is a piece of the infinite, that is concealed in all of the things around us. And when everyone comes to realize this, well, that's when you'll see redemption. When people come to realize that we're all connected, we're all one, you can no longer be in conflict with one another. You finally can have peace because you realize that the other is in fact myself, because we are all one. And so it goes a little deeper, for we are also right now on the fast day of the 10th of Tevet, the beginning of the siege of Jerusalem. And the Rambam tells us that all these days will be turned into days of festivity and joy for the house of Judah in the time to come. How can this be? It also has to do with this idea of gathering. We can learn it through a parable, so to speak. Rabbi Nachman discusses how you could have in a room a circle of men dancing in joy, and there's a guy sitting off to the side, depressed, upset, doesn't feel like joining them. Every once in a while, someone of the dancing circle stops and tries to gather him in, but he just won't have it. Finally, someone takes the initiative, grabs a hold of him, throws him into the circle, and all of a sudden, this guy starts feeling it. And he comes to, and he starts enjoying himself. But, says Rabbi Nachman, it's not just that this man became happy. By taking this depressed individual from the outside and bringing him to a state of happiness, the unhappiness of every other person in the dancing circle is also exponentially increased. And this is part and parcel of what redemption needs to be, not just an outward gathering of physical bodies, but also internally, taking all the pieces of ourselves, the memories and experiences that seemingly were dark and sad, and finding within them, reformatting them, reframing them, to see the lessons that they had to tell us and how they were actually for our good. For in truth, nothing descends from on high but good. If it seems not good, it's because it's such a blessing in disguise. It comes from such a lofty place we can't even see it. But in the time to come, we will be able to see it. And it starts now. Therefore, the times like Tisha B'Av, the times like today, the 10th of Tevet, all these days of destruction that seemingly were calamity, will actually be days of great joy, and specifically joy for the house of Judah, because they underwent the greatest sorrow and suffering. So we see gathering is integral to the entire redemptive process. We need to take the darkness and show how that darkness was actually light. As scientists are finding, there's matter and there's dark matter, but everything at the end of the day is just matter, right? So you have more revealed aspects of good, and you have concealed aspects of good. We must take them, and we must bring them into the light. And therefore, we understand why Jacob lived out the 17 best years of his life, not in Israel, but in Egypt. Because it was there that he was able, in the darkness, to realize the light, to draw the sorrow and the suffering into a place of reformatting and reframing as a source of joy and goodness. And in that came the greatest elevation, as it says, Ki b'simcha tetzeu. When it comes to redemption, we will go out with joy. And again, the completion of joy is bringing that suffering into the joy and converting it. May we merit it speedily.